Gender equality is an interesting subject, and what it means to different people comes across differently in the way people act around that subject. For me, it's been a mantra in my life, and it's come from the way I was brought up. I grew up in a family of 4 siblings, myself and 3 sisters. And I had parents that were so focused on my sisters and the way I treated them, being the firstborn. From early on in my life, it was very clear that there was no difference in the way my parents were treating me from the way they were treating my sisters, and they wanted those lessons infused in me. And so I grew up knowing that what I could do, they could do. And in some cases, they could do those things better than I could. If I could transfer that to the workspace, when I started working, I worked in the pharmaceutical industry as a medical representative. In the company I worked in, the sales team was 100% male, which I thought was odd. And I remember confronting the then resource team and the human resource managers to ask why we didn't have ladies in the team. And the answers I got were not satisfactory. They were around issues to do with, this is a traveling job, it's a high rejection job, so ladies can't handle it. And that's why we have men, you have to go out of town and stay out of town, as if that was an issue for ladies. And I just thought in the early 90s to be reasoning like that was really off. So I made a promise to myself that when I do get higher in these organizations to a place where I can influence that recruitment, that wouldn't be my approach, because my basis of looking at ladies in life was different. And so I could pinpoint that as the starting point of my equality approach to ladies in my life.
The company has selected 9 critical sustainable development goals to be able to pursue. These are the low-hanging fruits which have helped us to be able to map out a sustainability journey. But the most critical one we can talk about is the one respecting to gender equality on SDG number 5, whereby we use the tool provided by UNGCK to be able to know that that's one of the critical SDGs as a company.
We started this journey deliberately in 2019. And we set a goal then that we wanted total parity, so a 50-50 balance across the whole organization. We've done a lot of work there with regards to deliberate recruitment, promotion of ladies into positions of leadership, increasing the voice of women in our workplace, to the point that today, that split in the total employment base is 59% male, 41% female. It's really an improvement in a very short time. And we are now working with our value chain downstream in terms of suppliers and upstream in terms of the markets that we sell to ensure that some of these gender initiatives towards equity, which talks to equality rather, which talks to numbers, are then pursued. How we do that is being deliberate, and I'll give you an example. One of the strategies we have is when we are interviewing for either recruitment and onboarding or for promotions, we insist on interviewing an equal number of employees from both sexes. That means that you're already starting with an equal chance of either a man or a female getting the job.
Some of the challenges we are having in terms of now, when you're looking at implementing of the gender equality drive, you note that while we have the policies which we've drafted and they're guiding us in terms of how to advance towards attaining the target, we note that there's still the need for training, because of you can't be able to work on the qualitative aspect of it, because the quantitative is always easily reflected in the papers. And then the other aspect, we are in a community, and our people, our workers, once they work for us, they go back to the community. And it's difficult to be able to influence the community directly, but we note that we have open sessions where we talk to them and tell them that it's important for you to support the children or the girl child, because these are the futures. And one of the mechanisms we've done, we've had to deal with the problems which are interfering with the girl child education. Could be like things to do with fetching of water. And that's why as a company, we've decided to sink boreholes, so that we have 2 boreholes, and we have a program which we're going to spread along the Kericho area, Sotik area, and Nyamira County, such that we are also making sure that once a child leaves school, once they go home, they don't have to walk miles and miles to be able to go and get water.
Global Compact Network Kenya and the Confederation of Danish Industry, they came up with a program on gender equality and business human rights that was tailor-made for the agribusiness sector. The key takeaways that I got from the program: one, the importance of understanding gender equality. That one, it is not only a social issue, but it has an element of business imperative, whereby if well considered and taken into consideration, it will bring about innovation, it will enhance innovation, employee satisfaction, enhance the company reputation locally and as well as in the global sector. And understanding of gender bias, that it is unconscious, especially when it comes to recruitment, including people in the leadership forums, discussions, as well as promotion. The need to involve the top management and get their buy-in, because they're the captains of the organization. They're the key decision makers when it comes to strategy. So if they're not on board, then definitely you'll not get full support in implementing the initiatives that you wish to have. And also a need to create awareness across board to the employees to sensitize and coming up with achievable and manageable steps. You don't have to go all big, start small, track and continually do it and improve as you go on.
A lot of business leaders treat this subject of gender equality very peripherally, and I don't understand why. And I used to think initially that it's because of the African society and the culture that is designed that way. But traveling around the world, I see the same problem in Western companies, in Oriental nations as well, with regards to how this gender issue is approached. So the challenge I see, which I think leaders should address, is just commitment and believing right from the top. Because if the top leader of the organization is not deliberately driving these strategies and these techniques to then promote women in number and in scale, everybody else down the organization doesn't see the need for it.
The next steps for Sasini PLC is one, to continually improve, because already there are measures that have been put into place. We already have existing social policies, like policies on sexual harassment, HR policy, discrimination. Those policies are already there. The company right now is continually improving and reviewing the policies. Two is to report and to track. On a monthly basis, quarterly basis, and annual basis, we track and report on the numbers of our gender composition, the need of sensitization and communicating to the employees. The company has formed committees across the organization where we have representatives from the management, the mid-level management, where they continually engage with the employees, because they need to understand why and how we are doing it for us to achieve the equality at the corporate level as one entity.
I have a favorite statement that I make at work: skill has no gender. I don't see the need for us to start thinking that we have better abilities because we belong to one sex or the other. And so leadership is a key issue in driving this. Constant communication is a key issue in driving this. Training and sensitization really helps to emphasize the message and entrench it down the organization. So the more you do, the easier it becomes, but it must come from the top. But at the end of it, just be a good human. What makes us think we are better because we are men? Be a good human. The world is 50-50 split in terms of numbers. There's no reason why we should treat one particular gender different from the other. It's the same way we shouldn't treat one person different from the other because they belong to a different religion. The same way we shouldn't treat gender differently. So it comes from, if you ask me, down deep one's heart, you have to believe this for you to drive it as a leader.